for stage fright, Mum. What do I do? Listen, you know that.
Oi!
Don't judge me.
Stop it. Good morning. It's an early morning on a Saturday. I've been up for about 3 hours already, and I'm just really, really happy because it's probably one of the best Saturdays that you're going to have in the year. It is February half term, so we have a week free from school, from classes, from teaching. And February half term is my favourite because it means it's been my birthday only a couple of weeks before, which usually means that I have lots of stuff to do, lots of stuff to read and catch up on at that point. So it's the best half term that you can possibly have. Luckily this week Wayne's also off for the whole week, so he's taken that time off, and I've just put on some breakfast because I'm going to get Wayne up very soon. And I just thought I'd come and say hello. So in terms of vlogging and things like that, it's new and it's difficult and it's quite hard, especially when you're busy throughout the week and really tired. So I thought actually that the better thing to do would be only to do like a vlog every once in a while, and a half-term vlog, because I'm planning on getting loads of reading done. Seems like a really good idea. So today my big project is just to finish Soulbinder by Sebastien de Castell. This is the 4th book in the Spellslinger series, which is about Kellen, a young Jantep mage who really doesn't have very many powers, and then he discovers some things about himself that leaves him kind of an outcast in his society, and he's got to find a way to navigate the politics of his society, politics of his magical world, and to understand some of the things that have been going on for a very long time in that magical world that he's only now coming to terms with to understand or to see. He's essentially like a con artist in it, but in a really positive way, if I can say that. There's lots of cool swagger. It's very funny. It's definitely a proper adventure novel, and I love the cast of characters in it. So this is the 4th one. I've got the 5th one sitting over on my shelves to be read. So I'm now 216 pages into it because I've read some this morning as well, and I was reading it through the week, but I haven't been able to pick it up for days. So a lot of, because it's the 4th in the series, this book is featuring a hell of a lot of intrigue. We're getting a lot more answers than we got about some of the things that you laid down in the first couple of books. Now I feel like rather than these standalone adventures, we're now starting to get like an actual explanation of the overarching story, and starting to see more of that, which is fantastic. There are 2 more books in this series, and the final book has just come out. So by the time I finish these, paperback should be out because I want to collect. I'm hoping that it comes out. It's gold, and it should hopefully have lovely gold yellow sprayed edges so that it'll match all my other versions. So that's what I'm waiting for. So I'm going to finish that off today. So start of my half term, hopefully it will be fantastic, and if you're off for the week too, then I hope you enjoy it. Way too much trace now. So I went and got a very, very long bath, which is why my hair's very, very fluffy. And while I was in the bath, I finished Spellbinder. As I said before, this is the 4th book in the Spellslinger series by Sebastien de Castell, and the series follows Kellen, who's been outcast, he becomes a spellslinger, and that's what the whole first novel's about. But there's things that you learn in the first novel about Kellen, about why he becomes an outcast, about the society he lives in, and all the politics and things like that, which through the next two novels you start to see little hints of as he tries to discover these things, but you're not really seeing much. Now, the reality is that actually these don't take place over a massive span of time. They only take place over a couple of years. So it makes sense that in between, it takes him time to find out what is actually happening and why it's happening to him and things like that. So this fourth novel feels a little bit different. I think I said this before, it's slower. It's less of that fast-paced, funny, quirky adventure and more serious. I came to really love that. In the end, you kind of get to know the character of Kellen in so much more detail and see how he's really handling these things, but you're also learning way more about the actual political landscape of the novel, the magic system behind it. One thing I do need to say about the magic system, in the Spellslinger series, originally it starts with the idea of these Jantep mages who have connections to certain types of magic, certain elements that they tattoo like a band on their arm to do each of the elements. And one band is like silk magic, which is kind of like psychology style magics, and assuming like memory. One is iron magic, which obviously is more like forceful, more to do with will. Then you have ember magic, which is to do with fire. You have sand magic, which I think I might be getting confused between sand and silk. One is time, like breath magic, and one is like psychology and you can play with the mind type magic, and then there's blood magic and so on. That is one type of magic system in this. Then you have another type of magic system that is introduced in Charmcaster, which is incredibly interesting, and I find it really fun, and I think that it's quite interesting and appealing, but we only know a tiny bit about that at the moment, and that's a type of magic that really suits Kellen. And then in this book we're introduced to a new type of magic. In the second book it really focuses on the idea of the Argosy, and their philosophy more than magic, I would say. I find every book has its own incredibly interesting developments over the world so far, and this really helps to solidify where Kellen's going to sit in that and how the magic's going to work and continue to develop. But it's fascinating every time there's something new and something interesting, and I love this series so far. So I've now finished this, and this is the first read of the half term, which I'm really happy with. Which means now I'm now on to picking my second read of the half term. So, my friend and my colleague got me this mug for my birthday, which is really cute and really nice and sweet. She gave it to me the other day. So I'm just enjoying it while I pick my next read. So, yeah, I said I was in the mood. I'm in. The problem at the moment is I have way too much choice. It's been Christmas, then it's been my birthday, then it was Valentine's Day, and we kind of treated ourselves, each of ourselves, and now I've also just bought and acquired a lot of books recently, completely ignoring any idea of rules or boundaries on them. So my TBR, Charlie, is filled with books. My shelves are all filled with unread books. My shelf over there has loads of unread books. At the moment on my list I've actually got 310 unread books, which is an increase from what I got it down to at the end of last year. And the biggest problem that I'm having with most of the moment is that I want to read them all. You would think that wouldn't be a problem, but it makes choice incredibly difficult. So I said I was maybe feeling in like a proper thriller mood this week off. I think that maybe because they're fast and fun, I can read quite a few of them in that space of time. Now, originally I was planning on this half term reading Empire of Gold and finishing that, and also Holocaust was supposed to be out. So Holocaust is the third book in the Charles and Morrigan Crown series written by Jessica Townsend, but unfortunately that's been pushed back. Empire of Gold was due out on the 20th of February, which is the third book in the David trilogy by S.A. Chakraborty, but that's also been pushed back. And Hand on the Wall by Maureen Johnson, which is the third book in the Julie Devious series, came out on the 6th of February, and it's the third book and the conclusion to both parts of that mystery, and so fun and so good to read. And so I have already finished that. So all my original reading plans for February that I had scheduled are now out the window. So I don't know what I'm reading this half term. I just know that I'm in a massively happy reading mood. And then I vaguely remembered as I was looking for thrillers that Emma from Drinking by My Shelf had mentioned Thrillerathon. And I've never taken part in Thrillerathon before, but if I'm in a massively thriller mood, I thought, well, maybe I could. Okay, I can't pick a book. So, right, this week is Thrillerathon, which is like all the weeks, all 9 weeks, and you do it like Cluedo. Do you remember Cluedo if you play that? Oh god, okay. So you need to get like 3 cards, basically. Who do you think the murderer is? Where did they murder the person?
Yeah.
And what did they murder them with? So there's a prompt for each type of one. And I have books that fit most of them. So what I think I'm going to go for, is Professor Scarlet in the library. And then either with the dagger or with the hardback. The problem is, right, the group book is Dark Matter by Blake Crouch, and I've read it like quite recently. Too recently to reread it. Right. So I think that I can read Recursion instead.
We have so many more anyway, so...
Yeah, well, I think Recursion should count for me. Because it's the same author.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's that fair. Okay. So I want to do that. So I've got to read Recursion for it to be hardback. So in the library means a new to me author. So I'll just pick out all my ones that are new. So... So I have to read Recursion, right, to get the hardback prompt. And then to get Professor Scarlet, I have to read the shortest thriller on my TBR, which is Silent Patient, which I wanted to read anyway. Okay, so I've got to read those 2 this week. It's only like 342, and that's with acknowledgements, so it's actually 340.
Well, the thrillers are like 390, aren't they? Usually the smallest. But...
So it's really small, so I can finish that. I'll probably finish that in a day.
Good. If anybody hasn't realised.
So everyone in this pile is an author I've never read before. How do you hold up things like the videos? Like, there we go. Everyone in this pile. Yeah. There we go. One I haven't read before.
So this is going to be about, like, obviously, small, close-knit community that are blatantly hiding something, you know, about the body, and there's going to be a reason to hide it.
I've read the first 4 pages, and it was really, I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, the entire village did it.
Okay.
figure that one.
You can't just guess without reading it, though. That's not actually, like, figuring out, you know, that's it.
It works, it's
that's
true.
guessing, not figuring out.
It works, though.
Okay.
We've broke it down, we've got it right. The victim and a remote victim matched.
I mean, you can't just point to one of those people and, like, guess who did it.
And this one?
Yeah.
Where's the people to guess?
On the back, it says.
Oh.
It's on the back here.
You mean
In a remote... I'm not functioning today. So, in a remote hunting lodge, deep in the Scottish wilderness, old friends gather for New Year. The beautiful one, the golden couple, the volatile one, the new parents, the quiet one, the city boy, the outsider, the victim. Not an accident, a murder among friends. Mm-hmm. So, you know, just randomly, like, throw a dart at one of the people on those lists. Okay. If it's anyone who's not on that list anyway, the book's lying.
I believe you just said outsiders.
That's who you think it is.
Of course.
Okay.
I'll tell you who did it. Last page.
Don't read the last page. You're an evil person.
I'm not sure which one you should go for. I'll just pick whichever you're feeling.
That's helpful. Right, we know I'm definitely reading these to you this week.
Okay.
And then it's just what else I'm reading. So I've also got
So you've already picked that one, so okay. What about the ones with the second one? I'm confused. The ones I was reading the backs of. Have we not?
This is not helping me pick my next book.
But I had two in my hand and I thought we were deciding on them.
Yes.
Okay.
No, we're deciding which one I need to read this week.
I forgot about the other people. You're going to like that most likely, so.
Which one?
Is it one of these?
Yes, which one for this week?
Should do anything right now. It's brilliant at deciding things.
Not between two, it's not.
Fine.
Because it just depends on which book you start with. You do realise that, don't you? Have you ever played it with two people? Like tag?
You played Eeny, Meeny, Miny, Moe. No. You played tag.
Yeah, if you start on this one, then Eeny, Meeny, Miny, Moe is also always going to end on the same one. If you start on this one, it's always going to end on the same one.
It's confusing math. Right, no, we're not going to do that because we're going to... They have to put up with it. They have to suffer through this. No, just pick. Right, I'm going to mix them up and I'll pick one.
It's two.
Let's shuffle them.
And you got your eyes closed?
I probably should. Where are they?
Just... Wait, babe, it's hard to switch them between two hands.
I can't see anything, so just... Where are they?
Left or right?
Right, wherever the right is.
Okay.
Right, I've let go now. My eyes are open.
It's this one.
There we go. Decided.
Yay! Okay, so we'll read that one.
Brilliant. Analytical, methodical decision making now.
And then, lastly, because I think I can get through at least 4 more books this week.
Yeah.
Because it's a whole week.
And the short
thrillers.
and easy going thrillers.
Yeah,
you'll blast through them.
Okay, so at least one of these then, because these are ones are authors I really like. So. So, books picked that I'm aiming for this week is The Other People by C.J. Tudor, then Come Back For Me by Heidi, Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides. I don't know how to say that yet.
I'm going to let you butcher that. I'm good.
And finally, Recursion by Blake Crouch. So I'm just going to decide which one I want to read now. To be honest, I started before just reading the very beginning of this, so I might just carry on.
Yeah, you get through it. Well, you get through it really... Oh, no, it's not the shortest one.
No, it's not, but I think this will be quite quick.
Okay.
Read anyway.
We'll get you into it. Into the film.
Hey, and Come Back For Me next.
And you're going to have a backing spooky eerie game as well.
Oh, yes, and then, wait, so I'm reading one of the books that we have on Valentine's Day, and you are going to play
the new
Blue Witch.
Yeah, the new, well, say new, relatively new PS4 Blue Witch.
Yeah, it's a horror.
Should be freaky, at
so
least.
Hopefully creepy, freaky night. Okay. What are you laughing at, Alison? Right, back home from work now, and we've done shopping and put shopping away, and I'm now a really good chunk of the way through Come Back For Me by Heidi Perks. On page 284, which means I think I'm in the last 120 pages, so I'm planning on finishing that tonight. This is definitely a domestic style thriller. It's all about family secrets. Can you uncover what's gone on within the little community and the things that's going on between the people there? So at the moment it's progressing really, really nicely. I think I've worked out a lot of the secrets, some of the things that are going on. There's been a couple of reveals, but with 120 pages left, I'm not entirely certain how close I will be in the end. So it's about this girl called Stella and her family, who lived on an island called Evergreen, which is a very isolated community where there's only 100 or so people and families living together. And one night, her and her family, they left really suddenly in the middle of a storm, with no explanation, and Stella misses home and has no idea why they left. And as you go through it, you flip between the present day where a body has been found in Stella's old back garden, and now she's curious and investigating who that body might belong to, and trying to come to terms with her past and figure out what happened to cause their sudden leave and what's happened with the subsequent breakdown of her family. And you're also having some flashbacks to the summer that leads up to them leaving and why they potentially leave. So we're going to a book event with Heidi Perks. So I'm reading this first and then Wayne's going to read it. And what we've done is, when I've got to a point in the book where I think I've uncovered some clues or I have some ideas about what might be going on, I've put a little note, and then in the back, so it doesn't spoil it, I've put all the things that I think as I think them, and what page they correspond to, and that way as Wayne's reading it, he can put in what he thinks and stuff like that, and then at the end we can compare what we thought and when and what clues we'd seen and things like that. It kind of makes a game of the books, so it's like a double way to look at it. It's fun and it's interesting, but it also gives us a little chance to kind of play together and figure those things out, so that's quite fun. So yeah, I'm really, really enjoying that. So I'm going to go put on dinner now, and then come back, sit and relax and see how far I get through it. So I'll update you when I've finished. So it's finished, and I definitely did not guess it in the end. So Come Back For Me by Heidi Perks, I'm going to give a 4-star. I was really compelled to read it. I really, really enjoyed it. Its pacing is quite good. I didn't mind the skipping back and forth between the present and the past. I thought it made sense, and it was good to see other people's motivations. I liked the way it did slow reveals and that you got these constant little threads throughout, which I really enjoyed. I made a couple of predictions and guesses, and I don't think a single one of them was right, at least not unless I made it like a chapter before it was coming anyway, which is really cool because that means like everything was threaded through it so well, and I enjoyed that. This is not the usual type of thriller that I would read. It feels more like a domestic family style one, and that's quite odd for me, so I was surprised that I enjoyed it, but I was really happy as well. The reason it's a 4-star for me though is that there isn't quite enough atmosphere in it, so I was intrigued and interested throughout. I liked the mystery. I wanted to know what happened to Stella and her family, and I wanted to know who'd killed the person who's found in the garden. I really wanted to know what secrets were being kept on the island, but at no point did I kind of feel a sense of danger. I think the thing is, for me, it's supposed to be a thriller. Now, when they separate crime fiction, you have detective fiction, which features an active detective. You have mysteries, which involves you unraveling and figuring out and discovering things. And then you have thrillers, and thrillers are supposed to be thrilling. There was no kind of sense of dark atmosphere in this. I didn't feel at any point that anyone was following Stella. I didn't feel she was really actively in danger, not until like right near the end. A couple of things happened that should have made you feel like that, but to be honest, I kind of thought she was always okay. So there wasn't this idea of her life being threatened. There was nothing to really keep me there. Now, for me, that's still a 4-star because I enjoy figuring things out and trying to work out what's happened and trying to unravel a mystery, and I like mystery and detective novels anyway, so that works for me and that's fine. But as a thriller itself, I wish there had been more threat, more danger, and that I'd actually felt that sense of at any moment something could genuinely go wrong. That's okay. I enjoyed it. I would happily read something else by Heidi Perks. So I'm really, really glad actually to be going to an event with her, because I think that is really, really interesting. I think it's really well plotted and there isn't anything particularly wrong in that. But I can't give it 5-star because if I'm trying to put that in like the same category as 5-star thrillers like Claire Mackintosh, where I do feel a sense of suspense and danger, it just doesn't quite fit. Okay, right. That is the end of the 3rd day of Thrillerathon, and it's the first book that I've read for it. Now I can't remember what prompt we said this was going to fit. Possibly this is like one of the newest ones on my TBR. I literally bought it on Valentine's Day, so last Friday. So I think it could have fit that. I'm wondering what to pick up next. I'm back in work again tomorrow, just marking some work throughout the day. So I haven't decided yet, and it's really late, so I don't want to kind of pick up a new book. I also don't want to immediately read another traditional thriller back to back, because I'm not sure that that's going to do it for me, because I do struggle. I like thrillers, mysteries, detectives and stuff like that, but the idea of reading exactly the same type of book back to back might spoil the enjoyment for me. So I'm thinking possibly reading Recursion, because it's a sci-fi thriller, and that might help, or potentially picking up Pocket and Stubbs, even though I didn't originally put that on my list, and that's because it's so short and it's a kid's hard-boiled detective fiction, so it's very different. Or I may read a chapter of a non-fiction and really, really break it up. Other than that, I also finished an audiobook today, which was Come Tumbling Down by Seanan Maguire. That is is it the 5th or 6th book in the Wayward Children series? I'm not sure. So the Wayward Children series is a series of books about children who have gone wayward. They have found a door to a different world, and it turns out that actually they don't quite belong in the world of us. They belong in a different world. Some of these worlds are traditional fairy tale style worlds. Some of them are worlds from myth and legends. Some of them are nonsensical worlds. Some of them are gothic literary worlds, which is quite cool. So in the first novel, it's set, I think, if I remember correctly, in our world, as you get introduced to all these cast of characters. In the second novel, I believe it's set in the Moors, which is a gothic literary world. So think Frankenstein, Dracula, and so on. So it's done in that setting where thunder and mad science and things rules all, and it's a very, very logical world, which I love because it's got rules there, but the rules are fantastical in and of themselves. One of the novels is set in Confection, which is a nonsense world all about sweets and magic. I'm not particularly fond of that one. I think that's Beneath the Sugared Sky. There's another one which is set in the Goblin Market, which is very poetic, and that makes sense. The Goblin Market, I think, is a poem by Christina Rossetti, I think. That's how I know it from anyway, so that would make sense that there's this element of whimsy, poetry. It's supposed to be a very logical world, but there's a lot of whimsical elements to it. And then this last book now features 2 of my favourite characters coming back into the world, and returning to a world that is my absolute favourite, I absolutely love. So I don't want to spoil anything, so it's just a very like overview section. But in this book we return back to the world of the Moors and gothic atmosphere, horror, so on. That's just so wonderful to me. These are incredibly short books, by the way. The audiobooks are only 4 hours long, which is what I've listened to it on, and the books themselves are very, very thin, so like mini novellas. But it's a very fun series, and it's my first introduction to Seanan Maguire, who is also known as Mary Grant, and writes some horror. So I need to read more, because I do enjoy the writing. I don't feel like the series is hit and miss for me. I feel like it's the characters, the ones I connect with and love, and the worlds I connect with and love, I enjoy more. The ones I don't with I'm kind of just like, okay, well, I just wanted to know what was happening so that I could get back to those bits. So, and I think that's fair enough. I think a lot of people have like different favourites in this. So yes, that's 2 books down today. 2 books finished. And just gotta figure out what my next read is going to be. So this vlog's got long enough, so I'm going to finish this vlog here for day 1, 2 and 3, and then after work tomorrow probably I will let you know what my new read is and start the new vlog. Okay, I hope Thrillerathon's going well for everyone so far, and actually, you know, I'm enjoying it so far because my first book was definitely successful. So, good night.